10:30, Friday the 13th, so happy Friday the 13th for my son, Shotblocker 13 on YouTube.
Similar to what President Obama tried to do nationally and failed. Congress wouldn't let it happen. So what happened in the states, including, of course, Connecticut,
and all those others that don't think 13 is an unlucky number.
So that happened. But actually, at the state level,
13 doesn't bother me, except I'll never have 13 on a race car. It's kind of a moot point because I won't have any more race cars. I'll turn that off. So we're sitting in, well, for lack of a better term, we're sitting in traffic. I'm on the #1 highway in Winnipeg, or just heading towards Winnipeg. We're just on the outskirts of the perimeter, between a place called Deacon's Corner, which is basically a gas station and a motel, one of those you store it places, and a house and a warehouse, and that's about it. Deacon's Corner, Manitoba. It's right at the intersection of Highway 1 East and Highway 207, which goes down to where our town is. And we're sitting here just short of the bridge that crosses the floodway because there's something going on. We don't know what it is, but they got traffic stopped. Looks like they got some kind of a service truck over on the perimeter here, or on the highway, doing something. Maybe they're clearing the snow accumulations on the edges of the bridge. Anyway, just on my way in after 20 minutes sitting in stopped traffic on the highway. Yeah, it's a combination of snow clearing and the wide load coming through at the same time. Double whammy. Because to clear the snow, they actually have to pull it back out onto the highway and then push it off the bridge. Like they have both lanes going open, going eastbound right now. They're moving a bunch of traffic cones and doing some traffic stuff. Finished one side of the bridge. The weather has been kind of funny here. We're well below normal for seasonal temperatures. Quite a bit. Like normally I think it's -6 or -8. We've been consistency mid-20s with wind chills. -30, -35. See how things are right now. -24 and a -31 wind chill, so a little bit cool, a little bit normal. Enough that I have my hoodie on. Don't need to do it up though. To make fun of you guys down in the States who gets to 60 degrees Fahrenheit and you're wearing a hoodie and a coat and a toque. Man, I hate that. have to live in temperatures like that. Yeah, I'm a smart ass, aren't I? I just like the cold. I've always liked the cold. But the reason I really like it is with my MS. As soon as my body starts getting warmer, the nerves don't conduct properly. So, and believe it or not, I can usually sense the difference between 22 and 23 degrees Celsius. 22 is right on the edge of where it's okay. 23, it starts causing me to drag a little bit. My foot drags. A little bit of foot drop, as they call it. And my balance starts to get affected. I start walking more like I'm drunk, bouncing off walls or stumbling over things. So, liking the cold, the nerves work better. When it gets really cold, then you think muscles start tightening up, and that's not good. But that's just anybody when it gets to be 30, 35 below start to struggle a bit with dexterity. I used to work up north when I was at the phone company garage. I would go up north every 3 months to do maintenance on diesel generators. I'm going to move on to this lane because it's so bloody rough. This will be much better. Well, it is, I think. So I would go up north and I would work for 10 straight days. That was because the cost of getting me up north from Winnipeg so they would just change my work schedule, so I'd work 10 and 4, 10 days on, then I'd have a 4-day weekend. And that was, the whole logistics thing about not having me fly down and back up again, for the weekend. Flying within Canada is expensive, and flying from southern Manitoba to northern Manitoba is ridiculous. When I would go up north, especially in the winter time, I'm talking as far north as Churchill, right up on Hudson Bay, and I'd go up there, and a lot of the stuff, or most of the stuff that I did was accessible by helicopter, so you'd get up early in the morning, sit in a helicopter for 1 or 2 hours. Well, helicopters are very light vehicles. They're made light. They're not meant for comfort, per se. They're meant to be utilitarian. They're intended to be useful for carrying loads. So anything that they can cut out, they do, such as insulation. So if you've ever flown in a Bell Jet Ranger, the doors are 1/8 of an inch thick of a couple layers of fiberglass, basically. And they did have winter kits that they would put on, which kind of gave a token amount of insulation, but it was more like just a piece of carpet that was stuck on with Velcro. Didn't give a lot of insulation. And turbine engines do give you a good heat, and that heat would be brought down to the floor level of the helicopter, down through the of center pylon that held up the, it was the main support for the helicopter to lift on. So they, someone's in a hurry here. So you'd wear skidoo pants or ski pants, whatever you wanted to call them, which was a snowsuit pants basically. And the leg was up, that was on the inboard side of the helicopter. You would unzip the leg, and the legs would zip right up to the hips, so you could, regulate your temperature. So you could unzip that leg, and I would zip it down from the hip to the knee, and then up to the knee. Because that leg would be plenty warm because of the heat coming from the turbine engine. But the leg that was out by the door, you would have the pants done up, and I would usually take my toque off and put it on my knee because my knee would kind of touch the door or rest against the door. And it would literally be freezing. That's the extremes in temperature from one side of the helicopter to the other, or from, within 3 feet. The outside, it's outside temperatures, and the inside, you're getting the heat from a turbine engine. Because they were not very heat efficient, or energy efficient to retain heat, they would lose it fast. So if it was 25 and 30 and 35 below, and you're at a couple thousand feet of altitude, where it gets colder as you go up, and then you've got the wind chill because of the airspeed, it would get brutally cold sometimes. And then when you did land, everywhere I worked, they don't have snow clearing. These are remote sites. So you would have to make sure you were dressed warm enough but light enough that you could work. So you'd have to climb out of the helicopter, and there were times that you would sink to almost your chest in snow. There was one time I sunk up to my chest. You have a 100-pound toolbox to carry through that, and maybe some parts. Hopefully you didn't have to take a battery, because they were big Caterpillar batteries, like a big batteries. And you'd have to carry them from the helicopter into the building where the diesel generators were. And it was exhausting work. And then you'd work in the diesel generator building itself, which was much like a construction trailer on skids that was permanently left up there. And there would be 3 air-cooled diesel engines in the building, which would be smaller than a one-car garage. One diesel would be running all the time, so you're in there and it's noisy as well. But steel checker plate or diamond plate flooring you're kneeling on and working on, and the building isn't meant to be inhabited by humans other than for doing servicing on the diesels. So it wasn't a fun job. It wasn't bad. So you'd go and you'd do the work, and there was another building you could go and sit in. You'd go and sit and have lunch or make a coffee or something. No running water. All you had was an outhouse, and who wants to use a plywood outhouse when it's 35 below? So you always wanted to make sure you had things moving before you got in the helicopter in the morning, because once you left, you were roughing it for washroom facilities or bathroom facilities. Definitely roughing it. Kind of miss, not so much the work. I miss the guy that I worked with. He was a good guy, Brian. You know. Went fishing a couple of times. You know, I was just starting to, well, I had done that for, I don't know, a couple of years, I guess. Then I moved up into the safety position. So someone else started doing that. Anyway, I'm babbling about something and nothing all at the same time. So I'm going to let you go. Take it easy.